All right, we're back. The topic we're covering is target date funds and should you use them? Well, to answer this question, we got to take a step back. We have to understand investing is very complex. The markets are very complex. And when you add emotions into the equation, the complexity compounds significantly. And so if you're an individual who's sitting here as an investor or just starting out to invest and trying to figure out, should I own stocks right now? Should I own stocks here in the US or stocks outside of the US border? Should I own bonds? What type of bonds? Should I own corporates or treasuries? How much should I allocate to each? A lot of this can be overwhelming for individuals. And this is where the idea of a target date fund can make a lot of sense. And where individuals really encounter these the most is through their 401ks or savings plans. And the way they work is that they're going to have a specific year that's bolted on to the fund name. And so oftentimes it'll say, target date fund 2055 or 2060. And the way they work is that year in which they've named or put in the name is going to drive the asset allocation within the portfolio. And so if we're looking at target date funds, for 2055, and we're sitting here today in 2022, a large portion of that portfolio is going to be invested in more risky assets like stock-based mutual funds and ETFs, and less so in more conservative investments like bond funds. Why? Because we have so much time before 2055 occurs. But what's going to happen is as time goes on, that investment mix between risky and conservative investments is going to shift. As we get closer and closer to 2055, you're going to see that portfolio become more conservative or less invested in stocks and more leaning into bond-like funds. And so we just have to consider who the individual is when they're thinking about purchasing this. If you're not very interested in managing your own portfolio, if you don't want to rebalance, or if this doesn't really interest you whatsoever, this can be a great solution. But where target date funds really fall short is they fail to consider all the other assets and all the other things that might be going on in an individual's life. And for instance, if you're single and you've made a lot of money over your career and you've built up a lot of wealth outside of your savings plan, a target date fund probably isn't the best solution for you. Why? Because we want to make sure that you're factoring in your capacity to take risk. If you're single, have a lot of assets, you don't have any dependents, you don't want your savings plan being 100% bonds in 2055 in our example here. You want to make sure that 401k is talking to or linked up to the other assets that you have. But on the flip side, let's say that the 401k is really the only thing that you have to lean on in retirement in addition to Social Security. This is where a target date fund can make a lot of sense, right? Because as you approach that date, you want to make sure that portfolio is going to become more and more stable, and you can count on those monies being there when you do retire. So the thing we need to know is there is no right or wrong. It all comes down to your situation as an individual. And if you need help evaluating whether a target date fund is right for you, feel free to reach out. But most plans also offer a set of individual investment options that you can choose aside from a target date fund. And this is where using an advisor or having a second set of eyes or a professional's touch can go a long way as far as creating an asset allocation that makes sense for you, that's dialed in with your overall comprehensive financial picture to make sure you have all the right irons in the right fires and you have the right investments working hard for you. Advanced Capital, we do that for individuals quite frequently. So if you'd like to have us consult on that as well, please feel free to reach out. But target date funds, some people say they're not good. Some people say they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. Well, guess what? It all depends. And it all depends on your unique situation that you have. So hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was helpful. Don't forget to like or subscribe. And until next time, have a great day.